What's up, everyone? Good morning, good evening. If you're in Hungary, like Botond is, I'm in California. We're going to be talking to you about some Niners football for the next half hour. Last week, Botond made his debut on this show and came out firing hot takes. I mean, he was throwing Molotov cocktails, and I was a little skeptical, like, you know what? I think the Niners are going to bounce back and beat the Dolphins, but they didn't. He was right. So I'm bringing him back on. He's going to be a regular contributor. And what I'd like is to go through the big players on this team, the heavy hitters, starting with Kyle, and ask Botond to reassess them. Now that we've seen what the Niners have done through the first 5 games, what they did against the Dolphins last week, what is your opinion now of Kyle Shanahan? What do you think of him now, and what's going on?
At first, hey everyone, I'm happy to be here right now. What I think about Kyle, as you can see if you saw our speech last time, I'm not a big fan of Kyle Shanahan, and it's not because he's not an offense guru or something like that. It's because his personality. Last time against the disastrous loss against Dolphins, I was like, okay, Jed will be a bit nervous after the contract extension that he gave to Kyle. And what I saw, and not a lot of people know that, but the head coach brings up the main decision that who will play on a match. And it started with not starting Witherspoon. I will talk about him later, but it was the main reason why we lost that game. The other thing was, if you have Raheem Mostert and Jerick McKinnon in your team, who are the first and the 6th best yards per attempt rushers in the league, then you just can't afford it not to run the ball, even though if you are behind the Dolphins, like 2 touchdowns or something like that, you just couldn't afford that. So it was
not just those 2. Let me interject real quick. The Niners have 6 players who are averaging more than 5 yards a carry right now. Mostert, McKinnon, Ayuk, Debo, Kittle, and Juszczyk. They have 6 options and a million different ways to run the ball. Keep going.
Yeah. So that was the first thing that I didn't like about the match. The second one was the decision that we will just pass the ball every time because we have panicked in the game. It was a horrible decision, I think. If I want to be optimistic about Jimmy, I would say that it was before of his ankle that he did poorly, but I don't think so.
Let me ask you about Kyle Shanahan's decision to pass and pass and pass and pass and pass and pass and pass. It seems out of character, but because he ran so much last year when he had something to prove and he was coaching for an extension, he got the extension. Now he has ultimate job security and he's like forgotten about the run game. I have like conspiracy theories about this because he's not dumb. He didn't all of a sudden like forget to run the ball. To me, he's looking for a scapegoat this year. And he wants the scapegoat to be Jimmy. I don't think he wants to be a kind of offense that runs every time. I think he wants to be balanced. And I think he feels like he's hamstrung by Jimmy Garoppolo. And now that he has ultimate job security, he's like hanging him out to dry. Like, look, guys, he's the reason. The throws are there. The receivers are open. We're paying him $27 million a year. And you want me to run the ball? Then why do we have him? Why are we paying all this money for this quarterback if everyone in the organization is telling me to get back to running the ball? I think part of Kyle wants to expose Jimmy right now.
Yeah, and that was a thing that I wrote down today when I wrote my preview about the Rams game for the Hungarian faithful. I said then too that it's a bit of conspiracy, but I think right now we are passing mainly because we want to take parts with Jimmy Garoppolo right now. I don't think that Kyle likes him. I'm like, okay, I got Jimmy. I will prove everyone that this guy is not a good football player. And somehow we can get into Kirk Cousins, my love. I want to get him. And this is the best way I can achieve my goals right now.
I agree. To me, it seems like Shanahan felt like he was stuck with Jimmy because ownership loved him, fans loved him, and he worked around Jimmy all year last year to the point where he called 8 passes in the NFC Championship game. Now, he probably feels like, why do I have to do that? Do I have to do that every year? Jimmy's on a year-to-year contract. I'm locked up for the next 6 years. You've invested in me more than you've invested in him. I'm going to expose him right here. I'm not that I'm going to like set him up for failure, but I'm not going to baby him anymore. I'm going to call the plays I want to call. I'm going to show on the film after the game that guys are open, and he's just not executing and isn't worth the $27 million a year we pay him. I really think there's some of that going on. So we'll talk about the Rams game in a minute. It's like everyone expects the Niners to come out running and win this game, running the ball. Does Kyle want to run the ball, or does he have ulterior motives? Is there something else going on? I don't know. I mean, you'd think he would have ran the ball last week. You'd think he would have ran the ball the week before. I mean, where are the end arounds and jet sweeps? The NFL has not stopped that play from the 49ers once in like a year and a half, and Shanahan will call it like every other week. I have some serious questions about his desire to win at all costs this year.
That's the main thing right now, because everyone expected this team to win a lot of games this year. Maybe not 13, because our schedule is like horror for the next few weeks, I think. But no one expected that Kyle just stops being Kyle, stops being creative. I just couldn't think anything else that he just wants to take part with Jimmy and get a new quarterback that he likes right now. I know it's a conspiracy, but I just can't find any other reasons why he does that right now.
I mean, there's so many reasons to run the ball. The offensive line can't pass protect. The quarterback's hurt. The defense is hurt. You want the defense on the bench as much as possible. You want to win the time of possession. You're averaging 5 yards a carry. There's a million reasons to run the ball. And Kyle's like, well, we're down 2 touchdowns in the second quarter, so we can't anymore. Like, what are you talking about? Anyway, so yeah, it's like Kyle, we have no questions about him as a coordinator, but the questions we have are like as a head coach. Because if he really is trying to expose Jimmy Garoppolo, then he's hurting his team. He's not a leader. I mean, a coordinator with an agenda would do something like that. A head coach would never dream of doing something like that, because you're hurting your own team. You're sacrificing this season for better years to come, theoretically, with Kirk Cousins. Okay. I mean, can you imagine how mad the Niners fans would be if Kyle Shanahan actually traded for Kirk Cousins in the next 6 months? How mad? They'd be furious for good reason.
I can only talk in the name of the Hungarian fans. We would be, I don't know. I said them, if we trade for Kirk, I would go and be a fan of the Cowboys right now. So